And now, you're tuned in to RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's RBLR Sports.
Welcome into RBLR Sports. My name is Musab, and what a week it was. And just to think about y'all, Tampa's Bay been hot, all right? No slight rain here and there, but don't let that distract you from the fact that it's been a great for Tampa Bay sports overall, and we're more than halfway through May. The activities have started for our Bucs, and the festivities are about to begin, or maybe they already have as you're listening to this. Well, ain't no way I can keep on yapping about them Buccaneers without introducing my two partners in crime, aka co-hosts of RBLR Bucs. Ladies and gentlemen, he's back, flying in a Ray J with his Superman Shack Attack cape and them pewter red boots looking shinier than a real ruby. Look out, it's Santiago. What's going on, my man?
What's up, RBLR Nation? How's everyone doing? Good to be back. Yeah, I was off last week, but I'm back talking about Bucs ball. And, can't wait. We're going to talk about the schedule. Can't wait. Super excited. Already know the opponents. And let's go. Go Bucs.
I love it. I love it. And there he is. The floor shakes. The roars get louder at Ray J. Boom. Smash. Kapow. The fence has been taken down. It's the herd of Bucs fans. Oh, my Lord. Being led by the legendary Carter in his off-road Jeep Wrangler with the Fire the Cannons flag dancing in the wind, in the air. Carter, how we doing, my friend?
I don't know. After you telling me I'm pulling up in a Jeep Wrangler, come on now, you can't give me a Cadillac Escalade or something cool like that.
Oh, no, it's supposed to be more like a little off-road style. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're good, brother. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Really excited about this schedule. Man, I can't remember the last time. Really, this is really more of a reflection of the NFL, but it's super competitive. I mean, like, there's not any easy games, and like I know, we want to see, as Bucs fans, we want to see them win, and we want to see them be successful. But I also like watching some competitive football. Like, I don't really want those Falcons and Panthers games are kind of fun to watch them, beat the shit out of a team. But at the same time, like, I kind of want to watch Tom Brady, orchestrate a 2-minute drive in the fourth quarter or something. So we'll get into it. Definitely excited to be here for sure. Living life.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, that's the way I feel as well. That's what I'm looking for, is something a little bit more on the competitive side. But before we dig deep into it, listeners, if you could do us a favor, real quick, and however you're listening to this, whether it be on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, there's probably a follow button down there, a like button, or a subscribe button. And as always, it seriously means a lot to us here at RBLR. But also a friendly reminder, we are on social media platforms at RBLR Sports. Well, gentlemen, let's just get right to it. The schedule has been released, and I was like, wow, all right, this is interesting for sure. A complete different vibe than last year's schedule. Santiago, we'll kind of start out with you. What was your first thoughts overall? How do you feel about it? And then, I'll pass on the mic to you, Carter, and see where your head's at.
My thought of the schedule is, just, what Carter was saying right now in the intro, competitive football. So, started off with Green Bay at home. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's not starting, like starting off against, a weak team. That's a playoff contender team. So, I can't wait. I'm excited. I know we're gonna go, talk about each opponent, but I'm super stoked that we finally, it's in time. Like they say, time flies, right? So, next thing we're gonna know, we're already watching week 1 of the NFL. So cannot wait. Super excited. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about this?
Yeah. What about you, Carter? What do you think?
Oh yeah, man. Like Santiago mentioned, it's definitely tough. It's a tough schedule. There are really not very many easy wins. No real slam dunks. I mean, it starts with the freaking Cowboys, and they don't really get a break until the Falcons, and then they get the Panthers and the Seahawks. But man, in between now and then, they're gonna have some dogfights, and I'm excited as a football fan, but as a supporter of the Bucs, it is a little nervous. It is a little tough because they're facing that AFC division with the Bengals, the Steelers, the Ravens, the Browns. I mean, all of those teams they could steal a win easily from the Bucs. There's going to be some tough matchups, and that's kind of my overall thoughts for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking at it and I'm like, wow, this is competitive indeed. This is going to be a real test for us guys, seriously. And on top of that, Carter, as you were just saying, kind of, like steal these wins. Unfortunately, yeah, those things just always arise with every team. Stealing a win, immediately, I'm thinking, that Chicago Bears game, what was that, 2 years ago? And at the last moment, we weren't able to seal the win, but it happens. And that's just something that kind of, obviously is a little bit scary. Obviously, it's not completely just a full dominant kind of schedule. We do have our kind of lock-ins here and there, but overall, like my kind of vibe is just that it's kind of more payback on the easy or semi-easy schedule we had last year. That's really kind of where my head's at. But yeah, I'm more kind of 50-50 on, a little bit more, okay, like yikes. But I'm also like, listen, this is a real test for sure. And, this is just going to allow us to see the best of the best out of all of our players. Slash see maybe if we have any hidden gems, if, things pop up or whatever, which again makes me realize, injuries and all that, what we were dealing with last year. It's going to happen with every team, guys, but it just makes me think, well, I hope it doesn't, happen, in certain weeks or whatever, which makes me want to ask, is there like a certain period, guys, that, y'all are thinking, oof, this is a kind of a tough little stretch of, teams or whatever. I'll go first, which is, I think immediately week 1 to 4. That's just like, wow. Okay. We are immediately kind of starting off real high. It's, we got Cowboys, Packers, Saints, and I'm forgetting the 14 right now from the top of my head. My apologies for that. But it really it's going to be a tough one for sure. It really is. And that's where my kind of head's at. Like, wow, immediately from the start, it's going to be like, let's get right into it. Let's get into business. And one side of me is optimistic that, at least we'll get a better vibe of what's our team looking like. But where's y'all's head? It's at Carter. I'll start off with you. Is there a certain span that you're like, okay, it's going to be a tough few weeks?
Yeah, that beginning stretch, like you mentioned, is definitely stands out. But man, week 11 through week 16 is also incredibly difficult. You got the Browns, Saints, 49ers, Bengals, Cardinals. I mean, it's Cleveland, San Francisco, and Arizona. Those are road games. I mean, they don't. It's a really difficult stretch. There's also the Ravens Rams back-to-back weeks. I mean, and the Ravens game's a Thursday night game, so they have four days between Carolina and Baltimore. And Baltimore is ridiculous. I mean, you have to prepare for Lamar Jackson in 4 days. That's not going to happen. Like you're not going to prepare for Lamar Jackson in a week, much less 4 days. So there's a lot of difficult stretches. Like you mentioned, that first part's tough, but the 11 through 16 for me is probably the toughest. But yeah, just a really difficult overall schedule for sure. Fourth hardest strength of schedule, which is ridiculous. That's really tough. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I definitely have my concerns, but
no, it's a lot different than last year. And I mean, as you were just saying right now, the only kind of like little stretch, or I won't even call it a stretch, just the last 2 games, I'm like, okay, finally, we can kind of just relax a little bit, hopefully. And yeah, so just the fact that I can only feel like extra relaxed on those last 2 games and nothing else, it's like, wow, we are in for a treat indeed. But Santiago, where's your head at? I feel like this this kind of season is going to set the tone for Todd Bowles as well.
Yeah, I agree. It's the fourth, what Carter just said, man, the fourth toughest schedule in the NFL, number 4. It's not like like the 10th toughest. Like it's super super competitive. And I know that Tom Brady, he's gonna be like, relax, guys. We got to take it week by week, and we're gonna and if he can, I want to take a prediction. I want to make I think we're gonna be. We're still gonna win more than 10 games though. That's how good we are, you know. So, you know, that's what I think, man. Like, yeah, that first game in Dallas, you know, we played them. We played Dallas last year, the first game here, you know, and week one, and we beat them here. They want to try and get revenge against us, but you know, I think still we can beat them. That week 4 game versus Kansas City, you know, Pat Mahomes, prime time, you know, yeah, that, you know, obviously we have, you know, the you know, the Bengals with Joe Burrow, you know, like that is going to be another tough game because you know they're trying to get back to the Super Bowl themselves, and you know, when I hear the name Bengals and Super Bowl, it really doesn't mix, you know what I mean? But Joe Burrow, he's very competitive. So, you know, yeah, we can do it. I know we can. Let's go Bucks, baby.
You
Let's
know,
go.
oh yeah, looking at the schedule, it's like, we start off kind of, against some serious tough competition. I was just saying Cowboys, Saints, Packers, Chiefs. And then obviously, we have some, in games like, the Falcons, Steelers right after that. And then slowly, we kind of maybe a little bit kind of, maybe mid-level or whatever. Again, Panthers, Ravens, Rams, Seahawks. I feel like that little span, something could, arise or whatever. Those kind of, stolen wins, unfortunately, could arise. But then again, we cool down right before the bye, with the Seahawks, hopefully. And then again, we slowly warm up again. Look, right coming off the bye, guys. It just makes me think: is there any chance that there may be some challenges we just naturally face? Is coming right off the bye. Obviously, we get our rest, but Browns, Saints, Niners, Bengals, Cardinals, all of them are just kind of up in the air. They really are. And then, fortunately, though, we finish off with the Panthers and Falcons, but. I just want to know, did y'all think about that or no? Because I was like, ooh, that's gonna be interesting.
Well, you know, just analyzing, you know, the schedule, you know, we play the Bengals and we play them here at Ray J. So we don't have to go, and that's in winter time, you know, so we don't have to go up to the cold and play them, even though Brady, he's an expert in the cold. So, you know, I still believe, you know, they got to come down here. And yeah, it's perfect weather down here in Florida during that time. But you know, it's not going to be raining, so we're going to be right out of the rainy season pretty much. Because so then you have like the game in Germany versus the Seahawks. You know, that's like an 8-hour flight over there. You know, so maybe 10 hours. So you know, the Bucks are definitely, you know, we're definitely going to be put to a test here this season with everything. So you know, yeah, we can do it. We can definitely do it for sure.
Carter, is there like a certain game maybe you may think that something could arise, or this team does actually have a chance, based on where they are on our schedule?
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, that Baltimore game is going to be tough. I think the Rams is going to be really tough. But Santiago brings up a great point about the cold weather aspect of this. They don't really have any cold weather games. But Cleveland in November, that might be a little tough in the cold. But like Santiago said, Tom Brady's a master in the cold weather. I think a big thing that the Bucs to watch out for, or not watch out for, but it'll be interesting to see how it develops, is the Deshaun Watson thing. Obviously, if Deshaun Watson gets a suspension, which he very well could, that's very much up in the air. And if he does get a lengthy suspension, which is a distinct possibility, the Bucs could be playing. Who knows if Baker Mayfield's still there, or if he even is willing to play at this point. That'll be an interesting development to think about, because they're so late in the season. If Deshaun gets the whole season suspended, then it might not even be an issue. But if he only gets 10 games or 8 games, we just got to wait and see. And it's also San Francisco. I mean, what's going to happen with Jimmy G? Are they going to have Trey Lance? So there are a lot of games that kind of stick out as big question marks. They could be really difficult, or they could be kind of a little easier than maybe we anticipated. So, yeah, there's a lot of games that stick out. I think the Rams definitely one of the more difficult, and the Ravens as well. That 2 back-to-back. Ugh. Yeah, I do not envy the Bucs on either side of the ball in both of those games for sure.
Yeah, that's what my kind of head's at. At least with these tough matchups we have, this upcoming season. I'm thinking, it goes Rams, Chiefs for me, and then the Packers, teams like the Cardinals, and then my fifth one is the Baltimore Ravens, just because of certain circumstances. As you said, 4 days is definitely not enough to prep for Lamar Jackson. So for that reason, like a few of those are immediately from the start. I would even toss Cowboys in there just because it is week one. We're running it back with them. They've made some moves as well. We've made some moves, but it's going to be that first real test. Santiago, though, what about you? Do you see, you have any few games in mind that you're like, okay, these ones are going to definitely be our top difficult ones?
Top difficult ones, yeah, like like you guys were just saying, the Lamar Jackson, Baltimore. Even though we're playing here at home, the reigning champs, LA. Also, how about hmm, that wouldn't. It's not. It's because of going to Germany. It's not easy traveling across the ocean to another continent and playing, and then having to deal with jet lag and rest of sleep, or unless they have like one of those, maybe they have if they have a direct flight there, they can do that. But that could be it's not going to be. I'm not saying it's going to be tough because of the Seahawks. Russell Wilson went to Denver, and we'll win that game. It's just we have to see how the players are feeling. You know what I mean? Like, because they're coming off two difficult games there. I obviously know that we're gonna win that game. Of course, against Seattle. Another tough game, possibly. The Bengals. Joe Burrow come in our town. Come into our house. That's not gonna. And then we play Alex Kappa. He's gonna be coming back here. So he may get like people may, give him a clap if he comes on the field, maybe. But that's pretty much what I think. Obviously, playing the Chiefs week 4 in prime time, and we're playing them here, so it's going to be more of a packed stadium. So maybe we'll make a world record, right? Like. I don't think so, but maybe we'll make a world record.
There's gonna be a lot of games that are gonna be pretty crowded for sure. I mean, we got some good teams.
Yeah. This to set the tempo, the one in Dallas, in AT&T Stadium, playing against them over there, we win that game, and then get that off our back as well, because Jerry Jones definitely wants to try and be like, I want to beat them Buccaneers, But and then Green Bay.
Yeah, that those first 4 games for sure, I think, are going to be that real test. I think I feel like all of our heads are kind of at that, and I'm sure a lot of fans out there and listeners are kind of think that as well. As well, we are off to an interesting start for sure. But guys, I'm really glad that y'all brought up things like going on over to Germany, even the cold weather situation, because those are things to think about for sure. And it just kind of makes our season a little bit more interesting. It already is so interesting with the rather, competitive schedule we have. But I do like how, both of y'all brought that up, and it makes me think a little bit more about that. But also, again, certain things like, we're waiting on the Watson situation, what's going on with Jimmy G and Trey Lance over there with the Niners. So, honestly, I think it's going to be a roller coaster for sure. Roller coaster of emotions, definitely. Just because I just feel like week by week, it's going to be a dogfight. A lot of these games are going to be a dogfight. But hopefully, not every game, or hopefully maybe at least a handful. I'll probably say I'm hoping at least 5 of them are some solid wins, lock them in or whatever. So I kind of want to know, where's y'all's heads at for maybe more on the easier side, on the, trying to stay as optimistic as I can throughout this episode, just knowing, the fierce competition we're about to go against. I'm thinking, all right, well, hey, thankfully we have teams like the Panthers and the Falcons in our division, so we'll be seeing them twice. But hey, them Seahawks in Germany, I got them up there as one of our more easier matchups. But that is really about it. Teams like, even I would say Steelers, Saints, I would even toss in the Ravens, Cowboys. They're kind of, right at there, 4 or 5, all fighting for that spot right there. Anything can happen. I would probably say I'm more comfortable with the Steelers at 4, but uh, I don't know. Teams like the Saints and the Cowboys and the Ravens, they are definitely something to think about for sure. So, Carter, where's your head at least more on the easier side? Do you have any kind of games you're maybe looking forward to from those, or maybe overall you're looking forward to a game? But yeah.
Definitely the five easiest games definitely got to be, number one Seahawks. The Falcons are probably number two. Panthers are probably number three, and luckily we get the Falcons and the Panthers. We get to see the Bucs play them twice, so that's a pretty nice thing. The Steelers for me are number four, but that's a tough fourth weakest opponent because the Steelers have a ferocious defense. Mike Tomlin's the best coach in football. It's really tough. Um, and then the Saints at number five is also really difficult because they're a really tough division rival. But that's just how good this schedule is. As for a game, I'm looking forward to. I mean, I'm a huge Joe Burrow fan, so biased wise, I'm looking forward to the Bengals game. But I'm also looking forward to seeing Lamar Jackson in person. I've never actually gotten to see him play in person before, and I know he can just be, exciting to watch for sure. But yeah, from the Bucs perspective, definitely the Seahawks are probably the game they're looking forward to most, even though it is in Germany. The Seahawks are just such a mess. I mean, they have so many holes on their roster, and they're not going to be able to fill them anytime soon. They've got Drew Lock as their quarterback. It's just a disaster of a situation there in Seattle. So, yeah, it would take a lot for the Bucs to lose that game. So that's from the Bucs perspective, that's probably the game I'm looking forward to the most.
Okay, I like it. I mean, I have to say though, my number one is the Panthers, just because I just I just really think that they really are not going to be able to work anything out this upcoming season, or specifically against us. And I just want to toss the Seahawks right after, just because I'm like, okay, there is something to think about, the fact that we got to go, many, many, many miles overseas. But Santiago, what about you? Where's your head at on the more kind of easier scale? Any certain teams you're like, okay, I feel good about these.
Yeah, I mean, like I believe honestly I would say the Atlanta Falcons. I would put them as the easiest. Matt Ryan's not there anymore, so they're a mess right now, right? Russell Gage came over to our end, so that's going to be tough. Yeah, the Seahawks with Russell Wilson leaving, going to Denver, and obviously, something that's exciting, and I'm really pretty excited about, just seeing like how the fans react in Germany, like because it's a different type of environment. You know what I mean? Like, are they going to be like a more like soccer, like chanting and stuff like that? Are they going to be loud? It's going to be more like, because that stadium, the Allianz Arena in Munich, it's the home of a famous soccer team called Bayern Munich, and they put it like a fortress over there. So it looks like bubble wrap pretty much. It's like the way it is, and the outside actually changes color, based on like the home team. So it's probably going to be like red and pewter, and black and red. It's going to be on the outside. They do that. So that's going to be pretty cool. So that's the game I'm excited to see most. Yeah, and then obviously, like Joe Burrow coming here, and then playing a historic team like Pittsburgh up there in Pittsburgh, and beat them. Mike Tomlin, he's a Super Bowl winning coach, so that's going to be tough. But possibly, because I know we're talking about easy, the Panthers, man, the Panthers, they're anybody in our division, we're gonna beat them. We're gonna beat them easily. So.
Oh, you think
That's
you think
all.
even the Saints were gonna beat them easily, huh?
Yeah. I believe. I honestly like talking about recently. Previous episodes that we've done, and I still think that the Saints, we're gonna sweep them this year. I really do. I really believe that.
It should
Yeah,
be
we're gonna
interesting
go.
for sure.
I
Oh
would
yeah.
like. I would say out of starting the first 4 weeks, going weeks one, I would, with 2 games away, 2 games at home. I'm predicting that it's going to be 4 wins. We're
Okay.
gonna go 4-0 in the first. We're gonna go 4-0.
Oh
We're
yeah.
gonna go. Yeah, that's my prediction for that.
I like that. I like that a lot. I love that. I love that kind of energy, Santiago. I think it's going to be. I don't know, record wise. I'll have to think about that a little bit more, at least with the first four. But I do want to let you know. I'm pretty sure. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I do recall glancing upon something that did say that I think the Bucks have the toughest first four, games of any other team, and it absolutely makes sense. I mean, look at these guys we're going against. Cowboys, and then Chiefs, Packers. All right. And then it's a lot. It really is. But I want to know though. I feel like maybe I got it out of y'all, but is there a kind of a certain game where you're like, you know what? I'm gonna set some time aside. I'm gonna put on my favorite jersey. Maybe I'll attend it, maybe I won't, depending on where it is. And this is my game of the season. Carter?
Yeah, I mean that's a great question. I feel like every year there's kind of a game like that where you're like, okay, this is a game that I got to watch. And last year for me, that was the Bills. I thought the Bills game was going to be really fun, and luckily it turned out to be a wonderful game, really competitive, all the way up until the end. And for me this year, it's a tough choice because as a Joe Burrow fan, I want to say the Bengals, but purely from a football perspective, I have to go with the Ravens just because, like I said, Lamar is just so dynamic, so much fun to watch. I'm hoping that he's able to stay healthy so that we're able to watch him. Um, yeah, that's definitely my pick is the Ravens. I've been a Lamar fan since he got drafted. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that they drafted Baker Mayfield, Sam Darnold, and Josh Rosen over him. And
Yeah, I think about that a lot as well.
yeah, and like he was the fourth quarterback chosen in that draft. Like that's
I'm pretty
how
sure he
I
told people at the NFL draft or when he did get drafted that, oh, like every team that, missed out on me is going to regret it.
And yeah, they
They
have.
sure did. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Yeah, I mean, winning a unanimous MVP, that's not bad for a running back, right? So yeah, I'm really excited for that one. The Ravens are definitely my game that's circled.
I like that. I was actually, my thought was also the Ravens only because, um, it's interesting you say that you're a fan of Lamar Jackson. I don't know if I want to say I'm a fan of him, but I have nothing but utmost respect because he started embarrassing my team from the starting in college when I was at FSU. I still remember that very vividly. He embarrassed us. He really did. I remember I was watching it on TV, spin move to into the touchdown. I was like, oh my lord, this guy's different. He ain't like any other quarterback I've seen. So I'm looking forward to that, but I also just want to say, I just want to, I just want to stamp in some wins against the Saints. It really is a amazing, tough, fierce schedule that we have, and a lot of great games. But for me, it's just like, this is the year that we just kind of have to just hammer it down. We got to beat them both times, and just let them know that whatever happened in the past happened in the past. But obviously we're going to take advantage of their kind of the certain circumstances they're dealing with. But yeah, Saints are yeah, both Saints game are kind of my pick. Santiago, what about you?
Man, I wanna get that revenge on the Rams, man. And they're playing here at home, because that was such a dramatic game last year in the playoffs versus when we played them here in Ray J. Being down, was it 21-3, and Tom Brady comes back, ends up tying the game, and a field goal wins it for them and knocks us out. So definitely, would love to, I want to get some revenge on that. So that's the one game I want to see have circled. And then obviously, yeah, just I agree with Musab, just pound on the Saints, because it's just that, they're going through some changes. Obviously, Sean Payton's not their coach anymore, so they're not sure who they really want to put at quarterback over there. So when you have issues with that, but definitely beat some division rivals, and then obviously do a pounding on the and beat the Falcons, and then the Panthers as well. So make it 6-0 with those victories right there. So.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, yeah, no, I think we're going to be running the division for sure this upcoming season. And I do kind of like how you're also in that little revenge mentality. The other day, gentlemen, someone was like, "Oh, Musa, man, summer's coming around. Man, you need to up your game, man. Man, you stepped up. Man, you bought so many winter clothes and all that, man. It's time to spend some money." So I said, you know what? I was like, and they're kind of right, but they're kind of wrong. But you know what? I'm gonna get some revenge on them. I'm gonna let them know that I got some style. So, what did I do right after that? I headed on over to shop.rblrsports.com, and I hope you do too. Why is that? Because listeners, as you always know, liking and subscribing is free, of course. But if you need some new threads like I do, you need to get some revenge on whoever called you out for your rather mediocre wardrobe, then you can support this podcast and head on over to, as I just said, shop.rblrsports.com. You can check out all of our nasty designs we got for you. All right, you best believe we got colors of our beloved teams. We got designs honoring our football team, the hockey team, the soccer team, and the baseball team, of course. And let me bless you with a little promo code, whether it be for summer, winter, fall, it don't matter. It is Cannons, Cannons, for 10% off your order. There's a link right in the description. So really, it would mean a lot. Well, that being said, gentlemen, I also just kind of want to know, looking at the schedule, I think we're all like, okay, this is an interesting one for sure. What if you were given the keys to tweak some things a little bit? I'll start out with you, Santiago. If there's maybe one thing you could possibly change, add, remove, or just tweak a little bit, what would that be?
Nah, I mean, the schedule is made. They're made, and it's something that when I look at each opponent, I go head on. I don't want to change anything. I don't want to change anything because bring it, like The Rock says, just bring it. Because we have to prove ourselves. We have to prove ourselves every week. Because you know why? Because with a competitor like the GOAT, he's also has that mentality, and he's teaching that, and he's putting that mentality into each and every one of our every player on our roster. And we went and we go, and when we win more than 10 games in this schedule, I know we're gonna go for that Lombardi. That's what I want. I want that third Lombardi, man. I want that third Lombardi on that ring, because that ring that we just got versus the Chiefs, beautiful, beautiful, gorgeous. 319 diamonds on that, because that's in relationship. That's in a what the score was 31-9. So that's what I want to. Yeah, man. I don't want to still be undefeated in Super Bowl games. You know what I'm saying? That's
Oh
definitely.
yeah.
So I wouldn't change anything right now, honestly.
Okay. I like, it's a resume, that we have a tough schedule, and, we can talk our talk at the end of the season, letting every single, opponent know that, we fought through some battles for sure. And hopefully everything turns out well, and, we get another championship. I really do think that a schedule like this is definitely going to kind of condition us to prepare for the best and the worst throughout this whole season. But Carter, what about you? If you had the keys to, have a little bit more say or control in this schedule, is there anything you would change up?
I mean, if I had, the schedule editor from those NCAA football games, I'd maybe edit the divisions that the Bucs get to play. Like, I'd probably want them to play the NFC East and the AFC East, because then they'd get to play the Dolphins, Jets, Giants, Washington Commanders, and that would be beautiful, instead of playing the Ravens, the Rams, and all these amazing teams. But that's this is why I love Santiago, man. He's just so optimistic and energetic. He's bring it on, and I'm just like over here like, no, guys, we should be playing easier teams. So. But yeah, no, that would probably be the one thing I'd change. And maybe maybe the Bucs ain't got to play in Germany, but nah, yeah, like, it's a tough schedule, so there are probably a lot of things that I would change purely from purely the Bucs standpoint, just for their own benefit. But as a football fan, like Santiago said, I wouldn't change a thing really, because it's going to be some fun games for sure. A lot of competition, a lot of really great football being played. So definitely exciting stuff there. I'm definitely excited for this season to get started.
Yeah, I'm overall, I'm quite fine with it. I do have to say though, if I had a little bit of control, I would say maybe, just maybe, to spread out those first 4 games a little bit more, just because it is quite tough, and obviously you want to make it a little bit easier for your team as much as you can. But then again, Carter, I really do wish that, yeah, if I did have the power, we could just throw in teams like the Jags, Dolphins, Jets, and all those in our schedule. But wouldn't that be nice, huh? But hey, I also have to say though, looking at the schedule, I didn't realize there are some kind of things to think about. And as once I found out the schedule, I was like, wow, okay, all right. I wanted to see where everyone's heads at, and ran into Buccaneers.com, and they actually provided some a little 411 on this season. And listeners and gentlemen as well, you should know the Bucs are actually going to play their first ever Christmas Day game in Week 16 against the Cardinals. I just think that's like, all right, that's pretty darn neat, just because it'll be a little bit more of a reunion, for Todd Bowles. But along with that, it's just that it's a Christmas Day kind of game. It's the last one of the night. It's special. There's a lot of kind of little new things that have been added on for our season, and I really do think that's going to be fun. And my head's more in the kind of middle. Uh, I do think that we are definitely Super Bowl contenders, Santiago. But Carter, I'm also where your head's at. I'm like, okay, wow, all right, we could have some easier teams for sure. That would be nice, but oh well, it is what it is. But I just kind of wanted to just drop that, and just on top of the fact that we are facing 5 division winners. All right, so yeah, it's kind of dangerous. All right, it's like, wow, all right, that's interesting for sure, but. I do have to say though, the only thing that I do appreciate, because you mentioned the Germany game. I'm cool with the Germany game just because I was like, yay, another opportunity for Tom Brady to get another win in another country. I mean, it doesn't get more legendary than that. This guy just stays winning and winning, but our team stays winning as well. We get a nice fat bye week right after that game, so it kind of gives us some optimal time to prepare for the second half of the season. So just some things I kind of were to drop on to y'all, and just I wanted to hear if y'all had anything to say about those.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like you said, the bye after the Germany game is definitely much needed. Very nice, wonderful timing, and it's week 10, so it's kind of right in the middle of the schedule, so that's kind of nice. But what's also kind of difficult is how much of a bye week is it? Because they got the jet lag, they got to get back used to the Eastern time zone. It's just it's got its pros and cons for sure. But it's nice that it's against Seattle. It's such a coast game. Of course, here I'm talking all this, junk about the Seahawks, and then the Bucs are going to go over there and they get their butts whooped. But hopefully that doesn't happen. But yeah, I don't know. The Germany game definitely stands out, and like you mentioned, the Christmas game is really interesting. They're kind of trying to compete with the NBA, which I thought was an interesting move as a league, as a sport, because the NBA has obviously owned basketball or owned Christmas Day for a very long time. The NFL's owned Thanksgiving. So it's just kind of like, I don't know. I have very fond memories of watching basketball on Christmas Day. So it's kind of going to be difficult for me to choose. Obviously I'm going to watch the Bucs, but maybe the other games, not so much. So we'll see. It's definitely an interesting schedule for sure.
Yeah, Santiago. What about you? You got any kind of feelings? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with Carter. Man. It's to have a game on Christmas Day, man. The December 25th. You're opening up presents. And then you turn on football. And then it's the day off of work, and you don't have to be like, oh, I don't have to work today. And be distracted with other things. You just sit on the couch or be in bed or whatever like that, you know what I mean? Or go to a bar if nothing's going to be open, but still okay. But, just watch it at home, you know what I mean? And I know, Musab, you get to live like the actual real Christmas because you're going to have snow in Boston, right? But, and here it can drop a little bit, right? The weather, but sometimes it will, it will just be that perfect weather, man. It'll be so nice. Just a little sweater, not too much, you know what I mean? Or rock the Tom Brady jersey and stuff with the hat and everything. So
Oh, absolutely.
yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited for that. And then yeah, like that, that game in Germany, because playing in London is one thing. Like you have to, you just go across the Atlantic and you're in England right there. Germany's more into Europe, so that's going to be like another 2 hour flight possibly. Hopefully it's not too brutal of a flight over there, but can't wait for that game as well. Super excited for that
Yeah,
one.
now that I think about it, Santiago, I'm really glad that you kind of brought it up like that. It's Christmas time. You wake up. You open the presents and all that. It really is going to be a nice time, and I do also want to say that I look forward to it as well because I will say, being the Floridian raised guy I am, there's a very high chance I won't be going outdoors on Christmas because of the cold weather, of course. So you can catch me probably just watching it in my house, cuddled up in my blanket or whatever, and hopefully it will be a very entertaining beatdown. Fingers crossed. But yeah, should be fun. I do kind of like how these kind of things, these things that spice up the season or whatever, make things interesting. And to all of our listeners, and I just feel like more than anything, we listen. It's simple. My head's more like, look, we got a good team, and it's going to be an entertaining season. And at this point, it's kind of like, let's just see how our guys ball out. It's one thing if outside circumstances create obstacles. I don't think they will, but it's up to us now. We have been giving a test, and now let's just see how we do. But I just wanted to say, any final kind of thoughts with the whole schedule before we kind of transition on to some updates?
No, I'm good. I'm good with that. You know what I mean? Like I know we're gonna be later on. We're gonna be talking about game by game. So, but I'm it's finally awesome to see the NFL office do their magic and say, here you go. There goes your
So
schedule.
you're more on the optimistic side, huh, Santiago?
Yes, I am. I am.
All right.
It's tough. You know what I mean? Like I agree. We were just given each good points on, yeah, we're the fourth toughest schedule. You know what I mean? Fourth toughest. It's not a walk in the park. Like and blowouts all the time. We're definitely gonna have to grind it out. But you know, we have the team to do it. We definitely do. We have our Lenny back and Tommy. We have everybody coming back. So I can't wait. Can't wait. Cannot
Same.
wait.
Same here. It just makes me think, though, Carter. I mean, with all these kind of competitive games, how optimistic slash, unfortunately, maybe pessimistic are you? Just because you're like, you brought up some of these up in the air kind of, teams, the Saints, the Steelers, the Browns, these kind of games. Uh, how do you feel about kind of maybe that, we kind of made us naturally just get a little bit beat down by some of these good teams, whether we win or lose, that's another story. But we kind of naturally exhaust ourselves. We've been beaten down. We've been facing some serious competition, and maybe just maybe, our opponent steals a win, or more. You kind of just you're on Santiago's side. You're like, you know what? No, I am optimistic overall. Yes, it's a hard schedule, but we shall do well.
I mean, it's tough for me to be optimistic with this schedule simply because, like you mentioned, it is incredibly difficult, and there are some really good teams on it. But the good news is you know, the Saints also have to play the Ravens, Browns, Steelers. They have to play those four teams out of that division. Um, the Bengals are going to be tough. I know Joe Burrow is going to be excited to be back in New Orleans. Jamar Chase, same with him. Jamar Chase, Louisiana native. So it's going to be difficult for the rest of the NFC South as well. That's the good news. But the Bucs may not be the first seed or the second seed this year. I believe they'll easily win the division, but because of this tough schedule, they might be a little lower than maybe we'd like them to be or that we'd expect them to be. With Tom Brady at the helm. But it's football. They've got Tom Brady in the playoffs, and that's almost home field advantage wherever you go. So, yeah, while I'm not overly optimistic. I'm also not like, oh my gosh, the world is ending, the sky is falling, Chicken Little type stuff. Definitely not there. But yeah, I think they'll be all right. It's just maybe going to be, there might be some gray hairs being grown by some of the Bucs fans here in Tampa. So that's all I'll say on that one.
I like it. No, no, no. I see where your head's at. I'm more just like, listen, let's just see how it kind of rolls out or whatever. I gotta say though, I am gonna note this down as well because I really look forward to seeing how this kind of plays out and who gets the kind of closest prediction. Gentlemen, my hot take is 12-5. I want to say 13-4, but Carter, I do think that there is going to be, unfortunately, maybe a steal loss or our opponent's steal win. That's why being with certain circumstances, it's a tough schedule. We got a lot of dog fights. I'm going with 12-5, but Santiago, what's your record prediction?
You're gonna go 12-5. I'm gonna go 13-4.
Ah, okay. All right. So you were
Yeah.
thinking like how I was thinking before, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
I definitely still feel that with the talent that we have on this team,
Yeah.
and like Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, specifically those two, and Chris Godwin coming back from an ACL tear, and he's going to be ready to go. So I think we still just have to, and Russell Gage and and
Yeah.
just different people, like we'd love to see Grant come back for sure to have that extra weapon, but. Definitely, if he comes back, awesome. If not, we got some young bucks in there
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Yeah,
trying
we're
to make
actually,
their name out
but
there,
yeah, about to drop
So.
some names on y'all as well regarding that. But before I do that, Carter, what's your record prediction?
So the way I see it is they've got 5 wins in the bag. 2 Panthers, 2 Falcons, and a Seahawks. So with those 5 wins, they'll end up with 12 remaining games. Now I think that they can go 500 in those 12 remaining games. I think that's a reasonable, feasible goal. So I'm going to go ahead and say 11-6 is my prediction. I think that they'll win the division, get the job done, maybe not, get the 1 seed or the 2 seed, but I think they'll 11-6 is a very realistic possibility. Could they easily go like y'all were saying 12-5, 13-4? Sure, absolutely. They could steal a couple more games than I think, but I think going 500 against the schedule that they have minus the 5 coast games, I think that's pretty solid expectation. So 11-6 is my prediction.
All right, all right. We all got different ones. Let's see who's gonna get it. I do think that I think one of us probably will hit it, but I don't know. Maybe we do a better job than Santiago's hot take. But hey, in regards to kind of picking up some guys, updates. Bucs signed three guys for the rookie camp. Just a little background. They snagged wide receiver Cameron Brown. They got a defensive tackle Mike Green and another tight end, J.J. Howland. All right. So I kind of just a little, Brown was, he played at Coastal Carolina, and he'll be repping us as well, at least during this camp time. And on the other hand, we got a guy from a little bit smaller program, James Madison, Mike Green, of course, and that's our defensive tackle. And then last, we have an Ivy League scholar, gentleman by the name of J.J. Howland, as I just said. Big dude, 6'6", 255. I mean, he balled out in the Ivy League, and with our current situation right now in the tight end room, I think this was a rather interesting, nice pick. But I want to see where y'all's heads at with this. If there's anything y'all have to say about these guys specifically, or just overall kind of adding depth pieces / if maybe these guys would have a chance. Wide receiver, defensive tackle, and tight end. I'm going to say, if anything, the tight end one for me, J.J. Howland, may just be something to think about just because we snagged 4 guys this offseason, all rookies, and I really want to see how this kind of plays out. And I am rather interested in seeing, if it's just going to be a dogfight or not for that kind of starting role, practice position, or maybe backup position as well. Carter, we'll start off with you, though. Overall thoughts about this? How does this make you feel?
It's a little, like you said, very interesting. They picked up another wide receiver and another tight end. I mean, my goodness, the wide receiver room is already overly crowded. They've already got their 6. So I don't know. It was definitely an interesting move. And the tight end was also an interesting one. Defensive tackle, that's a must-have. You got to have depth all up on the front lines of both sides of the ball. So definitely understand that one. A solid pickup. The Yale guy really intrigues me because he's so big, 6'6", and they've already got a Harvard man in Cam Brate. So a Yale Harvard combo. I don't know. That could be kind of fun. So yeah, we'll see where it goes. Maybe one of these guys will crack the roster. We just got, like with all of these NFL draft guys, I feel like a broken record, but we just got to wait and see, see how it develops, see how they do in OTAs and rookie camp and all that stuff. So yeah, we'll see where it goes from here. Definitely an exciting time. Excited for those guys to get a chance, and yeah, we'll see where it goes from there for sure.
Santiago, what about you? Carter, I really like how you kind of mentioned the Ivy League. I totally forgot that Braid attended Harvard. So I don't know, Santiago, shall we be playing a little bit smarter?
Right. Right. They're gonna have some Ivy League talk, and everybody else is gonna be like, "What? What are you guys talking about?" Oh, it's just Ivy League talk, But yeah, it's just what Carter just said, and I agree with what he just said about another how compact. We have a lot of wide receivers, and and then another tight end. So it's going to be competitive. It's definitely not going to be a walk in the park, even for our team itself. With these new guys coming in, and we have to bring it down to a 53-man roster. So they're going to be playing for their jobs, each and every single one of them. So yeah, it's and then you have a 6'6" guy. I'm like I'm 5'4", so I'm looking straight up at this. I'm looking straight up. When you see 6'6", it's like it's a massive guy. So. But yeah, we need some depth always. What I agree with what Carter just said about you can having some defensive backs, or it's just important because of how brutal and all the injuries that we had last year and stuff. So but I'm excited that it's I'm super excited that we have a strong group of guys putting in their work right now in these OTAs.
Yeah,
Can't
absolutely.
wait.
It just makes me think. I just feel like my impression, guys, and tell me if this is not how you feel, or maybe this is how you feel as well. Is that listen, we got the starters, we got the backups who are hopefully going to be trustworthy, whatever. Now, I just feel like there's just like maybe 1 or 2 spots in all these positions, or at least the needed positions for sure. Not like even a quarterback position or something like that, but just where it's like, listen, well, we'll get a bunch of guys, and whoever puts in the work, whoever shines, we'll give them the chance. And that's kind of just my impression. I have to say, though, I would prefer a defensive back instead of that wide receiver. The tight end one makes sense. DT, of course, makes sense as well. That's definitely something we should always, add depth to as much as we can. But yeah, I was like, okay, this is fine with me. Let's see how it works out. But I also just try to remember that, with all due respect, a lot of these guys we're not going to know about after a few months or so. There's a lot of guys in only a few spots. So with all due respect, only a few of them are going to, make it. And then the other guys, just all we can do is just wish them the best or whatever. But I have to say, at least from this, the only one that kind of stands out a little bit is, okay, JJ Howland, big dude. Another tight end. I'm like, okay, this is interesting for sure. But I have to also add on, though, just because we're talking about picking up guys. I was not expecting this, and I really want to know if this is a surprise to you or not, because I was quite surprised. Former Alabama A&M quarterback Akil Glass, he actually earned an invite to the Bucs mini camp. I don't even know what to make out of this, just because I'm like, okay, all right. Is this something where just like, okay, well, we'll just, give the guy a chance, Carter? Or I don't know, when you found out about this, or maybe you're finding out about it right now, I don't know. How does this make you feel?
I mean, it's fun. It's interesting. He's a St. Louis native. he's got a big body, 6'5". He put up some decent numbers at Alabama A&M. I mean, he's got a good touchdown and interception ratio. There's just not a lot to know about the guy because he just comes from not one of the big
that's
name
what I was
schools.
thinking too.
I mean, it'll be interesting to see if they keep him at quarterback. Some of these guys that come out of college, maybe they say that, they were quarterback in college, and maybe a team likes their athletic makeup or their build, and they say, "Oh, do you want to switch to a different position?" We'll see how it goes.
Maybe he's a Lamar Jackson situation, Carter. Maybe
Right.
they're like, "Hey, boss man, you're kind of big and all that. You ever thought about playing another position?" And
Yeah, I
then
hope
they
he tells
forget.
them.
I have to add on, and I didn't realize it, but this guy he balled out big time. During his career in college, and I think he was, I believe, I'm forgetting the exact award name, but he was a 2-time like one of the best HBCU football players of the year, back to back. So this guy's got a good resume. The way I kind of see it is this: that this guy comes from a rather hidden area, aka smaller football program. Not much attention is going on to the HBCU kind of schools. And second of all, yeah, I mean, this guy's got some size to him as well. So it's like, all right, maybe this guy has potential. Maybe he doesn't. But Santiago, with all this information you've been hearing about regarding Akil Glass, do you have any feelings?
Well, I mean, honestly, quarterback. I don't know. Like, if we have Kyle Trask as number 2, like, what's he going to be? Because Tom Brady's obviously number 1. Yeah, I mean, if he's a big guy, maybe he has another hidden talent that he can play another position. Like maybe on the offensive end or the defensive end. But you're right. HSBC schools. There have been some.
They're
I don't. I
getting a
don't
big
know.
name. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know about that many players that have come out of those school programs because, obviously.
Yeah, Shannon Sharp came out of those programs.
Colleges, but
Yeah.
but other than that, like, we'll have to wait and see, like what he can prove, during these OTAs, if he's participating in them or if he's doing, or what they're going to have him do. Hopefully he can make the team. Hopefully he can do something good and maybe make the team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of competition.
At this point, guys, it's kind of like, we are just entering the time of OTAs and all these other kind of trainings and practices. So I honestly feel that at this point, we kind of just have to sit back and just watch it now. This is all the guys we got, during the off season, whether it be drafts, undrafted free agents, those who, just kind of earn an invite right before for camp. We're just gonna have to see how it kind of works out. But that's kind of just where my head's at right now. And reminder to our listeners, OTAs have already begun. They started May 17th yesterday. They're gonna go through the 19th, and then from the 24th to the 26th of May, also on the 31st, and then on top of that, June 1st to 3rd. I just want to kind of give you a little bit of info on that, just so that gives y'all an idea as well on, when to kind of look up for these updates. Because I have to say, what I'm thinking is by June 5th, June 6th, we should definitely have not a completely great idea, but the team has seen enough from these rookies to make some evaluations that I look forward to kind of finding out about and reading up on. But there's a lot more to look forward to overall this upcoming season for sure. But Carter, any kind of final overall thoughts before you wrap it up?
Nah, man, it was the schedule was the biggest part, but those undrafted free agents, the rookie camp invites, those are always fun, just because you never know who's gonna make a big splash, and maybe they don't make a big splash with the Bucs, but they make they get a decent career somewhere else. So overall, just a really interesting time. Definitely looking forward to the season. The schedule being released is just kind of a tease. It's exciting stuff. So I'm definitely looking forward to the season getting ramped up.
Amen to that, Santiago. What about you, man?
I agree with what Carter just said. I was really excited to see our players, grinding it out, here at $1. So, can't wait for, to see who survives these OTAs and stuff like that, who makes the cut and can, get closer to their dream of going onto that 53-man roster, so it's, can't wait, man. Can't wait. Super happy the schedule is out. And I'm just stoked. I'm just really, really happy.
Oh yeah,
really, really am.
since the draft, I feel like there's always going to be something, some event or something to look forward to in regards to our Bucks, and as well as that allows us to kind of get any information to either fire us up or kind of allow us to maybe think about what's going on with our team. But listeners, I want to say congratulations. You survived this episode. You made the cut, and you have become an official listener of RBLR Sports. So I really, really want to thank you all along. On top of that, on the real though, and if you enjoyed our podcast, help us out, share it with others, post it about it on social media. You maybe even leave a rating and review. To catch all the latest, you can follow us on Instagram at RBLR Sports and on Twitter at RBLR Sports. And reminder, as always, like and subscribe to our podcast. We seriously, seriously appreciate it. Every single one of y'all. It don't matter where you're from, what you do, how much you listen to us. It really, really means a lot. Every single one of y'all matter. We are on Spotify, listeners. Oh, don't have that. That's okay. All right. Because you best believe we are on Apple and Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and YouTube and other major podcast platforms. Well, it's been a fun ride for sure. The action has begun and moves are being made with it too. All right. A lot of special happenings, a lot of things to think about overall for this upcoming season, and you best believe we'll be talking about it all in the following weeks. Keep up the energy, folks. With a schedule like that, we are in for a real fun ride. So that being said, thanks again, listeners, and as always, go Bucs.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.